Like, hey, buddy. Oh! Oh! I'm breakdancing in the middle of the street. Don't bother me.
Oh, shit.
Over the last few years, you and I have been made privy to a certain YouTuber who has been on a mission to destroy porch pirates and scammers alike. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mark Rober. The NASA scientist who literally became a YouTuber. And, I mean, you remember the glitter bombs, right? Mm-hmm. The porch pirates would get them, and then all of a sudden, they'd open the package, and just all the glitter would come flying out.
Yep. And the stink spray.
Yeah, the smelly spray, the annoying countdown, shit like that. And then there was one I remember Mark showed. It literally ended with the thing being thrown out the window of a car and shot multiple times. Someone in San Francisco stole it, and then they threw it out the window and shot at it like 3 or 4 times. And then they drove off. It's like, Jesus. Like, what the hell's wrong with people? Oh, they live in San Francisco. That's the answer. I'll tell you, this whole thing with Mark Rober doing this and just absolutely destroying scammers is one of my favorite things ever. And the fact that he employs others that also do a good job of wrecking scammers and scamming operations. I forget the guy's name, but he's the one that does the thing where people he sends them files, and in those files are like viruses that shut down their entire systems. It's hilarious. Then there's another one who builds like a fake desktop, and the dude, when you give a remote control over to somebody, they basically like have free reign to click on whatever, and they go and click on your files to try and find some dirt on you or something like that. And he deliberately had like files marked nudes or like do not show to friends. And inside it was just like, for the nudes, it was like naked mole rats. And he was like, dude, seriously? What are you doing? The guy tried to threaten him. He's just like, if you do not give me what I want, I will wreck your system. I will destroy your system right now. And he's just like, dude, it's a VM. You can't really destroy it. It's literally a virtual machine. This isn't on an actual computer. And he's like, all right, fine. And he does it. And he's just like, are you happy? Are you happy? And all of a sudden, he's just like, what did I say? It's a VM. I mean, here, let me show you. And he restarts it. He restarts the VM and sets it back to where it was, and the guy still had remote control. And he's like, you want to do it again? Just to, make yourself feel better? Go ahead. I don't care. It's a VM. Like I said, you're not doing anything. And the hacker hung up. Or the scammer hung up. I just love stuff like that, man. I love when scammers get their just desserts, and apparently this is the big payoff that Mark Rober has been building towards. An international operation to basically destroy a bunch of hackers and a bunch of scammers, and I'm all aboard on this. So this was recommended on our Discord, and I guess we're just going to hop in and see what kind of scammers Mark and the crew are having to deal with. So here we go.
I had 100 cockroaches here, and I placed them in this James Bond-style contraption that turns this ball screw and forces them out after a specified time delay. Then I put it in a lunchbox for camouflage, and then I released them in this office. Now you might think, that's not very nice, Mark. Some people are afraid of cockroaches. Trust me, I know. And that's exactly the point, because this isn't just any office. This is ground zero for one of those terrible call centers that scams people of their life savings. A year ago when I released this video about inadvertently stumbling onto the low-level thugs in this international scam operation, I said we were going to glitter bomb our way all the way to the top, even if it meant taking this fight to the other side of the globe. And so after a year and a half of planning, we infiltrated not one, not two, not three, but 4 different scam call centers. We released cockroaches, smoke bombs, stink bombs, glitter bombs, and then of course we hacked their CCTV so we could watch the whole thing unfold in real time. So buckle up, because this is the wild conclusion to this multinational adventure, and please watch to the end because there's something you can actually do to help put the nail in the coffin of these 4 massive call centers.
I have a feeling he's going to end up with these call centers trying to sue him at some point, though.
Legally, they can't, because if illegal activities are, unless someone is physically hurt, in which all the stuff that they're doing is not going to result in anyone getting physically hurt.
Well, dude, there's been people who have sued people because they tried to rob them and then they got hurt trying to get back out of their house when they got caught. And shit
Well, again,
like the fucking system is broken.
Well,
as
I'm
shit
sorry,
for
but that dog
starting
don't
stuff.
hunt. That dog don't hunt, and I guarantee you, all of the international organizations that have been trying to take these people out will laugh them out of the building if they try and sue Mark Rober.
Maybe.
They will laugh him out. They will laugh them out of the building.
Hopefully.
I hope so. Besides, I think Mark, where he's got connections at NASA and all that, he'll just, drop the rod from God on their buildings and just destroy all of them. I know what you're up to, NASA. I've seen your budget.
This $20 billion scam industry? Well, we're doing it
You
for
know
the
what?
60 million people.
I hope the rod from God is just a giant cock-shaped rocket.
Well, you know what? Do you know what the rod from God is?
No.
The rod from God is literally a gigantic bar of tungsten that's like this big around, and it's a kinetic strike. Basically,
They just drop it from space.
they drop it from space onto where they want it to land. It hits terminal velocity. It hits an amazing velocity. Like, it goes way past terminal velocity, and just boom.
Yeah.
No nuclear fallout, just pure destruction. That's what. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if NASA has a few of those. I would not be surprised.
People who've lost money to scammers in the past year. But more specifically, we're doing it for Bessie, who you might recall from my previous video when I detailed exactly how one of these scams worked.
You're like my granny, Miss Bessie. Do you know this?
Yes.
She was like one of my closest friends.
Oh.
I used to share each and everything with her.
Basically, it starts with an email or a spam call, then they pretend to be Amazon or Microsoft, and they tell the victim they've been charged $200 for something, but if you call back, you can dispute the charge. Then after they call, they eventually get on the victim's computer and importantly, have the victim type the $200 refund amount into a bogus form.
Please enter your refund amount.
Only they take over and secretly type the amount of $20,000 and then they hit enter real quick.
Check everything. Is it correct?
Oh no, this is a mistake. Oh, I screwed up.
Jesus.
It was supposed to be a 200 in there. Oh, God almighty. I'm exhausted. I can't do this. My mind is absolutely fried.
Please check your account. Did you really receive that money in your account?
Then they take her to a totally fake, spoofed bank account page where it looks like because of Bessie's mistake, they just sent her $20,000 instead of $200.
Yeah, again, what they do is they hack into they basically copy the web page, like the whole build of the web page, and then they alter the very top part there to make it look like that happened. And then they show it to her, and then next thing you know, because unfortunately a lot of people out there aren't as tech savvy, they won't get that that's very possible. I mean, hell, I could access this page on YouTube right here, and I could copy it. I could copy everything on it, and I could make a cloned version of this page wherever I wanted to.
But you could change the total views to like...
Oh, yeah, I can make the total views...
500 million.
Oh, yeah,
38 million.
Yeah, exactly. I could do that if I wanted to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very easy.
You guys gotta check this out. It's got 500 million views.
Yeah, 500 million. Oh my gosh, can you
still
believe it?
impressive, though.
But here's the thing, because it's not changing YouTube's code itself. Instead, the code is only being changed on your personal machine instead of like YouTube servers overall. It has no effect on YouTube. It instead just looks nice on your end.
Yeah, this whole situation, when we watched the last one, this whole thing made me really sad.
Me too,
This
dude.
poor lady.
Oh my God. plus 20,000.
Yeah.
Please save my job, ma'am. If I'll not earn for my family will die due to hunger, due to starvation. Oh, please,
Yes,
ma'am,
of
please
course.
don't
I mean,
cry. Please
what
don't
should
cry,
I
ma'am.
do? I
I'm
mean, I
really
can,
feeling bad for you. You are also like my grandmother.
you know, I'm an honest
You are making
person.
me cry now. You are making me cry now.
Absolute piece
I'm
of shit.
getting attached to you.
Now, how do I fix this?
And now you can see how he's weaponized her empathy. Now to fix her mistake, how she'd be willing to go to the bank and withdraw what she thinks is an extra $20,000 in cash, when in reality, it's $20,000 of her hard-earned savings. And she's gonna send it in the mail to a heartless scammer. Now in case you think they've gotten a lot nicer over the last year, here's another call from a few weeks ago where the scam is to pretend they're from the government and there's some missing taxes that are owed.
I just retired, as I say, last February, and then I was diagnosed with breast cancer in August. So my retirement hasn't been very good so far. And after today, I know it's not your fault, but it's worse now.
Oh, I'm
But as
so
I say,
sorry
I
to
would
hear that.
rather just pay it. Otherwise, I'll be worrying about it, and I'll be worse in my health, you know what I mean? Or even if I have to pay it in 2 halves.
So the scammer places her on hold to talk with the authorities and to see if there's just something that can be done to help her out.
Thank you so much for holding the line, ma'am. I just had a word with the Hart authorities, and I informed them about your situation, and they are also concerned about your health.
So concerned, in fact, she'll only have to send these scammers $2,000.
Actual amount found out missing in the taxes is $1,489.
Now last year's operation was effective in getting a handful of people involved in this scam not only covered in glitter, but also arrested. But the problem was we discovered these were just the low-level mules and supervisors who would then send the bulk of the money back to the actual scammers in India. And while we did turn over all the intel we gathered to the 5 major government agencies that reached out to us to truly avenge Beffstew, our goal was to take our glitter all the way to the top and either temporarily disrupt or possibly even permanently shut down a few of these terrible call centers. It'd be like a special operation, and every special operation needs a special ops team, a target, and a plan. For the team, I turn back to my good friend Jim Bradley, who you recall from last year has a YouTube channel that specializes in reversing the connection to the scammers' computers and gaining access to their CCTV footage.
Is there anything else you want to ask?
Yeah, I want to know why you scam people.
And then another YouTube channel called Trilogy Media would be the boots on the ground in India implementing the pranks, but more on them later. For the target, together we were able to locate and gather tons of incriminating information on 4 different scam call centers. For starters, there's Met Technologies located in Kolkata, India on the 5th floor of this building. They've been in operation over 12 years and they've got over 1,000 agents. Their owner is Mr. Kunal Gupta, and you can even see the rest of their leadership team here on their public website. And you might ask, well, why would a scam call center have a public website? And the answer is they all do, because they have a very small percentage of their employees do legitimate call center work. So if they get raided by the authorities, they can point to that small group and say their hands are clean, while the real money-making operation runs here behind a secure door. Then we found VRM, also located in Kolkata on the 12th floor of this building. They also have over 1,000 agents, and they've been in operation for 6 years, and they run 24 hours a day in 3 shifts to target people in time zones all across the globe. Oh, and allow me to introduce to the world Rajesh and Vidya Goenka, the husband and wife co-owners. Next was Anj Info Solutions on the 5th floor of this building. They also run 3 shifts, 24 hours a day, and they've been up and running for 11 years with all their key info shown here. They're located just a block away from VRM. In fact, all 3 of these centers were located within just a few miles of each other here in Kolkata, India, which is a hot spot for scam call centers like this. And finally, there was one more we located, but we're not releasing public information on them yet, and you'll see why in just a little bit. And so once we'd amassed mountains of evidence against all 4 of them thanks to Jim's handiwork, we hired 10 private investigator types to apply for jobs at each of these centers, and after a few weeks, we had them all in place. Now, in order for them not to arouse suspicion, they had to legitimately scam some people, but we told them to remember the victim's information, and then we would reach out and double any money that was lost. And at first, one of our agents in the VRM call center went against protocol and used his phone to capture some footage for us of the bathrooms and the server rack and, whatever this is, but they must have seen him filming with his phone on their CCTV because the next day, some of the security team showed up at his house. Now luckily, his roommate knew to lie and say he wasn't home, and he was able to escape through the back alley, but they stayed out in front of his house all day and later sent this message saying the director wanted to speak with him and they would pay him handsomely all day, and later sent this message saying the director...
Hey, we heard about your whereabouts from blank. Make a deal with you, the MD of the company. Once I have a war with you, you come right down. The payment will be handsome, and there's nothing to be worried about or scared about. Come to the office and make a gentleman's leave. No worries. Come down to the office. We'll make the deal right away. And by the way, can I have a glimpse of the proof that you have against us?
How about no?
Yeah.
Director wanted to speak with him, and they would pay him handsomely, and of course, he didn't need to be scared. They were just simply curious what kind of evidence he'd gathered against them.
Oh, tell me. The last one. Tell me what you have against us.
Already. So from that point on, we reiterated to the remaining 9 to lay really low like a sleeper cell until we were ready to activate the plan. And speaking of the plan, now that we saw what we were up against, we knew we'd have to go full James Bond Q mode with some high-tech gadgetry that can make it past security. Which is why this first prank is just a water bottle. Kind of. I mean, it can function as a normal water bottle, but if you unscrew just this portion of the lid, it reveals a trough. And if you put military-grade putrid-smelling stuff in that trough, and then screw the lid back on fully, it creates a perfect seal and you can't smell anything. But then at the exact precise moment you want to release a cloud of death, you just twist the lid like this, allowing the smell to escape through these holes and fill the room. And we're using a water bottle because from looking at the CCTV footage, we know they allow them to have water bottles at their desks, so they'll be able to sneak them past security. Plus, no one's going to suspect that's the origin of the smell. Next up, if you take some hand soap and add just a few drops of the same kitchen-grade food coloring we used on the Devil's Toothpaste explosion, and when you wash your hands, it will leave them stained for at least a day. We'll leave this in the bathroom, and as a bonus...
Oh, that's evil. I love it.
Exactly who does and doesn't wash their hands. This next one is the most simple, but also perhaps the most effective. You take a box of Sudafed and then print out and paste on some of these labels and convert it to a box of Viagra. Then importantly, you add the name of the boss of the scam call center to the box, like it's his prescription. And then you leave it in the bathroom next to your blue soap. Next up is that custom-built box that can store cockroaches in it. So after a predetermined time delay, the microcontroller will trigger the stepper motor, which causes the wall to slide along this ball screw. That means if you disguise it in a lunchbox, then nothing happens until the timer expires. And then suddenly, you get a bunch of cockroaches crawling out of a lunchbox. Although you can put more than just cockroaches in here. And some other ideas we had were bees, because we heard India has some species that don't actually sting, as well as possibly rats, because we already knew from looking at their security footage that once released, the rats can make themselves right at home. And using a lunchbox for camouflage is once again a strategic choice, because we already knew from our recon work, they always make it past security because no one actually checks what's inside. Next up, I love the idea of the chaos that could result if we set off a smoke bomb, but we were concerned that might be crossing a line if the room was too small, because like the glitter bombs, I want everything I do to be exciting, but at the end of the day, relatively harmless. So instead, we found these micro foggers that are basically like massive vape pens. And we also noticed motorcycle helmets were allowed onto the floor and past security. So the plan was to put it inside a helmet like this, and then it would also detonate itself based on the time. And finally, as the pièce de résistance, we're going to deliver them a package. Only this isn't an ordinary package. It's GlitterBomb 4.0, which of course, as we all know, is equipped with a pound of the world's finest glitter and an uncharitable amount of fart spray. I still smell it. And so now
you about killed Macaulay Culkin there, Mark. Be careful. Be careful.
Now that our team, target, and plan were in place, after 1.5 years of prep work, it was time to avenge Bessie and execute the special operation. Step 1 was getting the Trilogy Media guys all the way over to India with all the contraptions stored securely in their luggage.
Okay, I bet you I know why he didn't release the name of the fourth place yet, by the way.
Why is that?
Because it's probably the exact place that the exact guy works that was talking to Bessie on the phone.
Ooh.
I bet you he found him.
Maybe so.
Alright, stepping foot on Indian soil.
Now safely on the ground, step 2 was to go pick up those stingless bees that we could put in the lunchbox. But once they'd arrived to the beekeeper, they found out you can't just take a few bees, but you have to take the whole hive.
In the car? Dude, no. They're gonna get out. I'm not afraid.
Also, apparently, there's no such thing as stingless bees.
Oh my god.
No, they still sting.
Oh,
So we punted on that idea and headed to an open-air market where we could at least secure some rats. By the way, the Trilogy Media YouTube channel.
I just don't like the idea that people might smash the rats when they let them out.
Yeah.
Who's a former magician, and Art.
Cockroaches are one thing, but
in
rats
Russia for
is
8 years.
kinda
They're just
fucked
an
up.
incredible duo. And speaking of incredible things, this is a good time to point out that the real people of India were just so freaking lovely. It's true that nearly every scam call you get originates from that country, but everyone in India hates these scammers too. They are a tiny, tiny fraction of the total population, and no one wants to be defined by the worst in their midst.
Very true.
Well, I mean, yeah, think about it. That's like 1.4 billion people, and if a million of them were scammers, that would still be less than 1%.
Yeah.
Because think about that. Think about that. So, yeah, 1.4 billion, and then divided by 1 million. Yeah, that's still not even. That's that's less. That's not even half of a percent, dude. I mean, again, it's just
like
India is just such an
0.049.
overwhelmingly populated country. It's insane.
Most people we interacted with there had hearts more like Johnny, who's an honorary member of the team and a reformed scammer who's made it his life's mission to do whatever he can to take these guys down, even if that means working some back channels to get our hands on 100 cockroaches.
Yeah!
So with the goods procured, it was time to meet up with our sleeper agents at the hotel to do some final prep on the contraptions, which went about as well as expected.
Seriously though, are we gonna test it right here? Right here? Yeah. You can't do it in the bathroom?
And 16, 17.
Yeah, no, get him in. Oh, yeah. More than marriage.
I see.
Grab. Stop.
That's the thing. It's like you need a good way to get them in there to start with.
Okay, honestly, a funnel system would probably benefit the best. Like, I would get like a squared funnel, and I would corral them in like that, and I would have a little. I would put one in, and then I would close the top. One in, close the top. One in, close the top. One in, close the top. I would do at least 10 in each, and then go from there.
Please. Okay, pause. Accounted for, right? Everyone?
I swear, I would not let you down.
We decided the first call center we'd hit would be Anj, and we were feeling optimistic about our chances. And that's exactly when our special operation received its first major blow. So apparently there's this WhatsApp group that 55,000 scammers all across India belong to, so the different scam call centers can communicate with each other. And because Johnny was still a member of this group from his former days, he saw this message pop up. Two of us in the town of Kohai.
Oh. Guys, it's a very important message. We are having that two of us in the town, Kolkata, have seen the trilogy effing people. And there are two Indians with them. It's like they were shooting a movie.
Have seen cuss word trilogy people. We followed them, but the driver drove the car very fast to the Salt Lake side. There was two Indians with them, and they were shooting a movie. So apparently some scammers had recognized Art and Ashton at the market as the Trilogy Media YouTube guys, because they've confronted a lot of scammers in their 5 years of making videos. Now thankfully, just out of habit, Johnny was driving in a way that would make it hard for anyone to tail them, but they still were able to pinpoint their hotel location within about a half a mile. But then it got much worse. Might be they are working with the FBI, so I request all of our brothers to have an eye in Salt Lake, so whenever you see them, you shoot them. Which was super devastating, because it seemed pretty clear to me that we'd have to scrap the whole operation, because while the mission was important, it definitely wasn't worth anyone getting hurt. But when I brought this up to the guys, they'd already discussed it amongst themselves and decided this was a cause they were passionate about, that they were willing to accept some risks. So we decided moving forward, Art and Ashton wouldn't step a foot outside their hotel room, and that's when the second second major blow came, because apparently the group text warning spooked the call scam center so much they just changed up everyone's assignments, and they were planning on moving all 3 of our sleeper agents to a new floor where there was no CCTV coverage. But this is where we had a stroke of luck, because the last minute, Johnny thought to have another one of his reformed scammer friends apply for a job. And because he had so much experience on his resume, they hired him on the spot and gave him a more highly trusted role, which meant he could be the one to smuggle in all our gadgets. And so with that, he loaded up, headed in for battle, and an hour later, we had a man on the inside. And by the way, now that we're inside, I'll give you a very quick crash course on what we've learned about how these scam centers operate after watching them for so long. First of all, 90% of the victims are 65 years old or above.
I don't understand that. I don't understand all of this.
They really only make calls during the US working day hours and not on the weekends, because that maximizes their chance the person who picks up will be retired. This is why you never get scam calls on Sunday. They don't have anyone even working the phones. In fact, many of them have an auto dial prompt that says press 1 if you're over 65 years old, and if you press anything else, it just hangs up. The most common scam is the Amazon refund scam, but they also pretend to be Microsoft, McAfee, Norton Antivirus, the IRS, and your bank, and on and on. It's always changing, but it's also always something you've heard of to try and build trust right out of the gate. If you want to know how much they make, well, that information unfortunately is securely held on the boss's computer, so we can't get to it. Although, I suppose if you had access to the internal cameras, you could just watch the boss type his password, and then you'd be able to access their master tracking spreadsheets, which is what we did, and how we know these large call centers make $60,000 per day.
Jesus.
It's $18 million a year. An opener will take the initial calls and they make an average of $7,000 a month. Then if they keep the victim on the phone long enough, they hand it over to a closer and they make on average $15,000 a month. They never say the word scam or victim, instead referring to them as sales and customers. That way they just seem more like a normal office. Although what I think does that job more convincingly are all the walls plastered with inspirational corporate words like synergy or management or process. So that's your crash course on how they operate. And the FTC has put out a list of 4 signs to help spot a scam and 4 things you can do to protect against them. And I'll link to it in the video description. And so now without further ado, we kicked things off with the stink bomb water bottle. And while that was marinating, he went to the bathroom and dropped off the hand soap and the special medication with the boss's name written on the front. And it didn't take long for us to get our first hit on the smell. What was great though is they all kind of covered their noses subtly in silence so the people next to them wouldn't feel accused. Well, for the most part. Then a few minutes later, we had our first bathroom customer who clearly doesn't wash her hands after using the restroom. But then we had a second chance with an apparently more hygienic scammer, and this time we struck pay dirt as he comes out trying to figure out what the heck just happened. And 5 minutes later, you can see him still trying to work it out. And not long after that, we got our first mention of the special package in the bathroom. The audio cut out here, but our agent told us they were laughing and wondering how the boss could possibly leave that lying around. Although it certainly doesn't feel too far off brand, given he uses this as his profile pic on Facebook.
What an S-rank tool. What the fuck, man?
Hello there, ladies. Would you like to get involved with a true Sigma male? I show you a good time. God.
This is the douchiest of douchebags.
Oh, this is glorious. Oh.
And at this point, our agent placed and then triggered the time delay countdown on the cockroach, rat, and smoke bomb traps so we can now safely make his getaway.
Oh.
There you go.
You okay? You safe?
Yeah. I thought they were just following me.
And since they, of course, have no idea what's about to happen, they're still just casually talking about the bathroom. And then a few moments later, the first boxes must have triggered because this guy notices a cockroach and nopes his way out of there. And then he's quickly followed by the second dude. And I love it because they just randomly see cockroaches start coming in frame. So now that they know what they're up against, they call in the reinforcements with a mop. But it looks like he missed one. Or 2. Or 3. Actually 4. Scratch that. 5. And then as if perfectly on cue, right as the mop guy finishes his cleanup, the smoke begins. This causes quite a commotion and draws quite a crowd, and it takes them a while, but they're eventually able to pinpoint the source of the smoke and gingerly take it off the premises. Followed soon thereafter by our rat friends. And this is possibly my favorite clip of the whole night, where you see a cockroach lead the way and wander all around as they argue and try and make sense of what in the world is possibly happening. And by this point you can tell the boss is pretty sure they're under attack, but just to remove any sense of doubt, we sent them one final package. And they almost opened it right there, but I guess with everything else that had already happened so far that night, they took it downstairs. And then this happened.
You guys give up, or you're thirsty for more?
Yeah, in fact there's 4 of them, and they're uploading this footage to the cloud.
Oh, it smells.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Activation complete. Recovery sequence initiated.
So after our incredibly successful special operation, we waited to see what the response would be. And we didn't have to wait long. Yesterday, those cuss words sent Anch Solutions a package bomb, and it exploded, and there was a bad smell and sprinkler water, or whatever it was. These guys are playing good with us. I'm reminding you guys, they must be in between us. We don't even know. And now we had them, because they were paranoid, and they didn't know which of their employees might have been compromised. Check the lunch boxes, pocket bags, shoes, ladies' purse as well. Even check the water, whether there's some color mixed in it. I assume he's referring to the soap dye here, but be cautious, guys, seriously. They came to bad word all of us, and they're still trying to bust us. After that, there were a few more death threats, so we didn't think it was safe enough to launch our attacks on the other 3 centers to try and get them shut down. But the beautiful thing is, we didn't have to. Big centers in Kolkata and Delhi are closed from today, as well as Monday, as per the information I got from all my friends. We had created enough confusion and mass panic that not only did the other 3 centers get shut down, but we got all the large scam centers all across India shut down for a few days too. And if you add it up, that means those tiny cockroaches stopped $2 million from going from the victims to the scumbags. And I would say that's the perfect ending, but it actually gets even a little better. Once Ashton and Art were safely back home on American soil, they decided to troll that text group with those 55,000 scammers by uploading this gem to the chat.
Surprise, surprise, scammers! Hart and Ashton over here.
No matter how many members you remove from this group, we're still watching. Not only that, we've also downloaded every single person's contact information, all 57,000 of them inside this group. We have every single one of those contact information.
Ouch.
We're submitting it to the FBI in the United States and the CBI here in India, so you guys better run and you better watch out.
And so if you want to see how quickly the scammers started removing themselves from the chat group, as well as a lot more details of all their work on the ground over in India, you should go check out their video. And not surprisingly, Anch and the other scam call centers eventually opened back up, albeit this time with much tighter security. But they still didn't, and still don't realize probably till this moment, that we have access to their live camera feeds. So Jim improvised a bit, calling them out by their real names without giving away the fact he was just looking at them on the camera.
Yeah, hi sir, my name is Carolina Fernandez. I am calling you from the Microsoft.
Oh, hi Priya. Hi.
Who are you?
I'm a ghost. Yeah, I don't know what.
My father's
I don't know, but is your father proud of you, what you do? Does he think you work for Microsoft?
Yeah.
Have you not seen this clip yet?
You don't work for Microsoft.
Yeah, this was released somewhere else before this Mark Rober video.
Probably on the dude's channel. Probably on Jim's channel.
I saw it. I was just like, oh, that's awesome.
Oh.
Sweetie. At least talk to me. Hello?
He also managed to change the way their voices sound when they would do outbound calls to their potential victims.
Who are you? May I know what Who are you?
You're speaking very strangely. What's up?
So to see a lot more of that quality entertainment, you should go check out his video. So after all that, we're sort of in a good news, bad news situation here. The good news is that because of some developments we've been involved in, the 4th center here is going to be raided by the authorities in India and shut down very, very soon. The bad news is that these other 3 are still very operational. And for reasons I can't say here, we don't have the same option to get them shut down like we do on the 4th one. Now you might ask, why not just privately reach out to the proper authorities in Kolkata where these 3 call centers are located? And the answer is, that's been tried before and it didn't work. While there are many good apples, there are a few bad apples that prevent anything from happening to these guys. So where does that leave us? Well, as they say, sunshine is a great disinfectant, and here's where you come in. We've invested a lot of resources and time and tried to make this video as entertaining as possible in the hopes that you'll consider sharing it for 2 reasons. Number 1, the more people are aware of how these scams work, the less effective they become and they lose their power. So please share it, especially with your older loved ones. And number 2, the more people that see this video and learn about these 3 specific call centers, the more the press will pick it up, especially in India. Heck, tweet our videos to the Kolkata police. This helps out the good apples because the bad ones can't just sweep all the evidence under the rug or quietly tip off the scam center bosses. The press and public can hold them accountable. We've seen this tactic work successfully in the past, and we have mountains of evidence against all these scam centers. If you are with the press or a law enforcement agency, send us an email to callcenterevidencepack@gmail.com and we'll share everything we have with you. If you combine them, these 3 centers have been in operation an astounding 29 years, and they're still scamming people of their life savings to this day, even right now as we release this video. So let's see what we can do. And depending on exactly what happens, I'll either post a follow-up video here on my YouTube channel or on my other social channels, so subscribe and all that stuff if you want to stay in the loop. Glitter bombs and cockroaches are just harmless entertainment, but our best chance of working together to shut these guys down for good is by shining a light to foster some accountability. Thanks for your help. Now let's make Bessie proud.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was wrong. He didn't
I want
find
to
the
thank
exact
more of
guy,
you
but yeah. He didn't find the exact guy, but yeah, at least one of them got shut down.
For their support on this video. I've been using their service myself for over 3 years now because they really are the best of it.
I use Express. I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about Nord. I mean, really. I mean, but anyway, damn. Mark Rober, you are a scary man. You are a scary, scary man whenever
I just
you
hope
put your mind to something.
the call center bosses don't pull together to try to send somebody to assassinate him or something.
I hope so too. I hope that, Mark, I think if they did, it'd be too big of a thing. And, like Mark, I mean, he's all the way over here in the States, and I'm just going to be honest, I think it won't happen to him. I really don't think it will. I worry about those Trilogy Media guys, though, because, they were making active threats while they were on the ground in India.
Yeah.
And I worry about that. But, good lord. So, yeah, pranks, destroying scam callers. Absolutely. That was amazing from top to bottom. That was such a great... I wondered for the longest time what would become of the glitter bomb pranks, especially when it came to actively going after scammers. And I was not disappointed. Mark, you did a great job on this. This was... you and your team should be very, very proud of what you have accomplished. And I hope that you all continue to catch these assholes, because they deserve to go down. They just deserve to go down and never work in the call center industry ever again. Or I would say put them in prison and put them to work.
They deserve to be in prison.
Yes. But anyway, I think that's going to do it. If you want to see more from Mark Rober, be sure to check out the original video by clicking the link in the description, or go to Mark Rober's channel by clicking his name in the title of the video. I mean, just that easy. And if you want to subscribe to us, we'd greatly appreciate it. If you want to leave a like on the video, that'll also help out a lot. And until next time, I'm Nate.
I am Nick.
Take care, everybody. Peace.